Today I will talk about a very special class was in the society long ago. We call them Jawari. Jawari were very important in the lifestyle long ago in the Arab countries. There are a lot of categories under Jawari term. For example, we have one category very important for us. We call them in Arabic Qiyan or Kiyan. This category was the most important category inside the palaces. Why? Because they play music, writing poetry and singing and also dancing. When I was collecting all the information about them inside the manuscripts and the references, it was very difficult to find something we can understand it right well through their dance or their way of dance. But it's very easy to find their songs, their music, their poetry, a lot of things like that. But dancing was very difficult, especially, of course, in the Arabic manuscripts and references. This research was very difficult to finish it. When I finished it also, I tried to share it with one of our scientific journals, but was very difficult too. Why? Because I touched some or the lifestyle of the caliphs, the Arabian caliphs, and of course the princes. So for this reason was very difficult too to share it with them. But one thing I found was very important, which led not so easy to share this research in the scientific journals, the types of the Jawari. Suddenly I found in most of the manuscripts and references that they collected Jawari from everywhere all over the world except Egypt, and I found the reason was because the Egyptian women were queens. Very strange, but wonderful, of course. Another thing, this Jawari story was touching, the Jawari story was touching also the caliphs and the princes. So for this reason was very difficult, little bit, but because it hurts the feeling of some people. So for this reason was very difficult to share it in the scientific journals. Anyway, I will share some points about them, some information about them with you. Another point which is very important for us, that Jawari were famous for three main different types of dancing. The first type is Oriental dancing and belly dancing. Of course, we know this. And the second is the Andalusian Muwashahat dance, which we will talk about it but later in another video. And, oh, this is my secret, Karj dance. The Karj dance, okay, I will explain you more about the Karj dance. It will not be a secret, but in our next video about the Andalusian Muwashahat dance. So, subscribe to my channel to be updating with my new information about our dancing. And share the link for your friends. And now, let's go and see the new information about Jawari.
Who are the Jawari? Jawari means these stillery girls who are bought and sold in the slave market. They were brought from distant countries to the caliphate. Jawari were not females only but males as well. When Jawari boys grow up, they enlist in the army. The costumes of Jawari. They wore colored garments, were tight and or loose, gold chains and jewelry, bracelets on their hands and forearms, earrings in their ears, and anklets on their legs. They used the ornate handbands adorned with the delicate poems and healing amorous phrases, embroidering on clothes, and they used the embroidered such sentimental poems on their handkerchiefs, pillows, and fans, and write them with henna on the palms of hands and feet. The most famous types of Jawari dances. The belly dance. Most of its steps consist of instinctive pornographic steps in addition to a few of folk dance steps. This form of expression movements are prevalent in bars and palaces of entertainment that frequented by many men. Andalusian Muwashahat dance, the high-class dance that was performed inside the Arab palaces that were the base of ballet dance. The main style of Jawari dance. It is likely that the forms of kinetic expression that were presented in the bars and inns of Arab palaces were divided into two sections. The first section presents kinetic expressive forms that we can call it Oriental Dance, that perform on Qiyam songs, which beginning when starting to drink, and it can be said that it is a mixture of steps of folk dances from different cultures. The second section, it is the role of Jawari, whose performance fell under the forms of belly dances because of the pornographic movement steps that stimulate instincts. This last type of dance begins shortly after the audience became drunk. Now we reach the conclusion. Jawari community appeared during the Islamic era and they were not slaves. There were no special gender for Jawari and most of them were unknown their mothers. There were a special high education for Jawari, so they were famous for writing poetry, singing, playing music, and dancing. The most famous dance types of Jawari was belly dance and Oriental dance. The Oriental dance steps were a mixture of several cultures, and it is development of the folk dance steps of these cultural societies. There has been no major change between the fashion of Jawari in the past and the outfits of singers and dancers in recent time, except in writing poetry on the decorated handbands in the past. The Qiyam groups of Jawari were famous for singing and playing music during the ages of the caliphates, and some female singers performed some forms of dance. However, there were some Jawari who were only known to dance.